What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City transfer update. Apologies, we've not had a transfer update out for a couple of days, but daily transfer updates, they are back from now until the end of the summer transfer window. You have my word, so stick around, do subscribe. It is free to subscribe. We're on that push now to 40,000 subscribers, so any help towards that would be great. Also, don't forget as well to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Also, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. 300 likes is the aim. And finally, social media links, you can find them in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too. If you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. So we're just going to dive straight in. We've got some contract news. We're going to be speaking about the future of Pep Guardiola. Now, Manchester City, they're prepared to offer Pep Guardiola an even better deal worth more than £20 million a year to keep Pep Guardiola on as Manchester City's boss. That is according to Simon Mullock. Now, Manchester City, apparently according to Simon Mullock, are also happy to continue to do 12-month rolling contracts for Pep Guardiola. The plan is they want at least a decade from him, so hopefully Manchester City can get that sorted and get Pep Guardiola to sign on the dotted line. Pep, you do know it does make sense, so hopefully we can get that done, because I think that would be one of, if not the biggest bit of business City could get done this summer. Now, moving on to the out, we've got the latest on Kayky, and yes, he is still a Manchester City player. Now, Romulo Giacomin from Brazil, he has said that Manchester City, they won't be loaning him to Brazil this season, and instead they're looking to try and loan him to Europe, as he's nearly over his ACL injury that he picked up last year. So Manchester City wanting to loan him to Europe rather than to South America seems to be the plan for the next upcoming season. Now, moving on, we've got the latest on Manchester City youngster Alex Robertson, and FTBL over in Australia have said that there is plenty of interest in Alex Robertson for this summer. Apparently some interest coming in from the Premier League and from the Championship. Portsmouth from the Championship, Everton from the Premier League, and names that have been mentioned, but there are other teams interested as well. It is believed at this moment in time that it's inevitable that Manchester City will be pushing for and getting a permanent move for Alex Robertson rather than a loan transfer. Now, it's moving on to another Manchester City youngster, takes us on to an update on Liam Delap, and Marzio has been speaking about his future and says that while Southampton are keen on signing him this summer, there is some interest coming in from Italy, with Bologna and Fiorentina putting their name out for Liam Delap. Plenty of interest in him. Man City will be pushing for a permanent sale for Liam Delap, so we'll see if we can make that happen. Now, moving on, we've got the latest on Sergio Gomez. Interest in this one. Now, Mundo Deportivo have said that Manchester City have told Real Sociedad that they want €15 million for Sergio Gomez this summer. Real Sociedad simply cannot afford that amount, and they want a loan move, and they're also considering other avenues to make the transfer happen. So I imagine if Man City say that a loan transfer can't be sorted this summer, then Real Sociedad will simply move on to look at other alternatives. Now, Sports Witness have said that Gomez, he wants to stay at Manchester City potentially in the long run, so he would prefer a loan move rather than a permanent transfer. Apparently, Manchester City's coaches have sat down and spoken with Sergio Gomez and said that they would advise him to stay at Manchester City. The problem is Sergio Gomez doesn't think he's going to be getting much playing time over the next season, and he wants to be playing on a more regular basis to not only ensure that he's pushing in the right direction with his career, but also to be trying and testing himself on the regular basis as well. Now, Mundo Deportivo have come back, and they have then gone on to say that a move to Real Sociedad is complicated because two more teams have declared their interest in Sergio Gomez. Really interested in this. One of them is AC Milan, who are believed to be happy to pay Manchester City's asking price of €15 million for Sergio Gomez. Now, the player would prefer a move to La Liga. However, I think if a permanent offer does come in for Sergio Gomez, I think Man City will ask the question. So we're at a very fine part of the transfer. One thing I would say that right now, now, it looks likely that Sergio Gomez will be leaving Manchester City. I can't quite put my finger on whether it's going to be a permanent transfer or a loan transfer right now, but one thing I am certain of is City will be losing a little bit of depth in their squad with Sergio Gomez leaving. And with that being the case, we already have the understanding and everybody already knows that any player around the City first team squad that leaves will need replacing. And Man City, the sources close to the club have already come out and said City won't be signing any players unless players leave. So Sergio Gomez leaves, there's a gap in the squad. We need to bring somebody in. Calvin Phillips, he leaves, all of a sudden, another gap in the squad. So I am expecting Man City to be doing a little bit of business in this summer window. I can see Manchester City potentially with wanting some clarity over the future, of course, of Ederson, Sergio Gomez and Calvin Phillips, that there might be space in the squad for more than likely one, maybe two, at a push 3, depending on what happens with players leaving. So I am still expecting this to be a very busy summer transfer window. As I said, I'm expecting things to start booming from July once the 2023-24 season for PSR is sorted and we're into the new season for 2024-25 from July 1st. Now, moving on to the final transfer of the hours takes us on to a very quick update on Ederson, and Sam Lee's been speaking about his future and says that there is the belief from Manchester City at the end of the season that Ederson would be leaving the club to make a move to Saudi Arabia. Again, his future far from certain. If he does leave, with Ortega Moreno already signing a new contract, is he going to become Man City's first choice keeper and we're after a backup goalkeeper, or are Manchester City going to want to keep competition very high, which is what I think City will look to do, and they'll look to bring in a goalkeeper who's maybe seen as first choice and wanted to spend or needing to spend a little bit more money to bring a player in. Of course, we'll have Mike Maignan of AC Milan linked in. Maybe we could use Sergio Gomez as a little make weight there if Ederson does decide he wants to go to Saudi Arabia. Been getting linked, of course, with Diogo Costa as well over at FC Porto. So there's plenty of names out there that City are being linked with, that City are eyeing up. So interesting window so far. Now, moving on to the ins, couple of quick transfers to speak about. Firstly, takes us on to a new name. It's in the form of Artem Dovbyk over at Girona. He's a striker, finished top goal scorer in La Liga last season with a very impressive 35 goal contributions, 25 goals, 10 assists. Manchester City, they're keen according to HITC. Now, this has all come about because it's believed Atletico Madrid are close to signing him, and Man City want to keep an eye on him, in particular from a City Football Group perspective. Now, Julian Alvarez was getting linked earlier in the window with a move to Atletico Madrid. That isn't going to happen, so they're looking at other alternatives, and that's taken them to the Ukrainian striker, 26 years old, from Girona. So I think Man City are keeping an eye for CFG rather than Manchester City, so to speak, with this being involved. But the article was going on to say that should Erling Haaland leave Manchester City at any one point, then Artem Dovbyk would be a potential option for Manchester City to consider. And with that being said and done, the CFG would like to put in a buyback clause for the player should he go to Atletico Madrid. Again, City just keeping an eye on that one. So I'd love to know your thoughts of that, guys, in the comments below. Now, moving on to the final transfer that I want to speak about takes us on to an update on Bruno Guimaraes. Now, Rob Dawson at ESPN has said that Manchester City, they're only going to be making a move for Bruno should he ask to leave Newcastle this summer. He needs to hand in that transfer request. Should Manchester City get that transfer request and City are confident that they can negotiate down from that £100 million value that Newcastle have got of Bruno G, would Manchester City then be happy to make a move? So it all depends on, does the player want the move and he's happy to request the transfer? If he doesn't, he's happy to keep the status quo. City won't be making a move for Bruno G. However, if he does want to make the move, City will explore all options, but they're not going to be paying £100 million. That release clause won't be met in the next week or so by Manchester City, despite some rumours suggesting that they could do that. Manchester City won't be spending £100 million once that release clause comes and goes either, because it's just not representing value for money for Manchester City. So the big question is, because we're getting towards that bridge now, is this going to develop into Manchester City's summer saga for this window, or are Manchester City simply going to walk away? It all depends on how confident Manchester City are that they can make a deal happen between not just Bruno G and his camp, but also with Newcastle United as well. What we can't afford to do, because it's such a busy summer with big European championships going on and the Copa America, we can't afford to be wasting time, and it is having an impact on the transfer market along with PSR as well. A little bit frustrating. Bear with it. As I said, give it 2 or 3 weeks and I think things are going to be booming, so we will see. So there we go. That has been today's daily transfer update. If you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to my channel, press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. Social media links, they're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorship for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. 300 likes is the aim. Also, don't forget as well to get your thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you guys religiously tomorrow for the next daily Manchester City transfer update. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.